Here are 10 actionable Stoic-inspired strategies to free yourself from external validation and start living boldly. What if the key to a truly free and fulfilled life was just a shift in perspective? How often have you held back, sacrificed joy, or missed opportunities because you feared what they might think? That fear of judgment, that need for approval, it's like a chain keeping you stuck. Here's the truth. No one's opinion matters more than your own. This isn't just feel-good advice. It's a cornerstone of Stoicism. A philosophy that teaches freedom comes from mastering your mind and letting go of what's beyond your control, like others' fleeting opinions. If you're ready to step into your full potential, let's dive in. Your journey to freedom begins now. 1. Understand the dichotomy of control. Let me tell you a story about a friend of mine, Sarah. Sarah was always stressed about what her co-workers thought of her. If she wore a new outfit, she'd obsess over whether it was office appropriate. If she presented an idea in a meeting, she'd replay every word later, worrying if someone secretly disagreed. She spent so much energy chasing others' approval that she was constantly drained and deeply unhappy. One day, she shared her frustrations, and I asked her, "Sarah, who controls how they think about you?" She paused. "Well, they do." "Exactly," I said. "But who controls how you show up in that meeting or how you feel about that outfit?" She got it immediately. "I do." This is the dichotomy of control, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. It's simple but profound. Some things are within your control, and some aren't. Your thoughts, actions, and reactions, yours to command. The opinions of others, completely outside your jurisdiction. Why waste time and energy stressing about what you can't control? Think about it. If you spend every day chasing the approval of others, you're giving away your power. It's like running on a treadmill that never stops. No matter how fast you go, you'll never get anywhere. Here's a practical step. Take out a sheet of paper and draw 2 columns. Label one "in my control" and the other "out of my control." Write down a recent situation that's stressing you out and sort the details into those columns. Then focus only on what's in the first column. When Sarah started doing this, she stopped obsessing over what others thought and started focusing on doing her best work. The result? More confidence, less stress, and, ironically, more respect from her co-workers. When you master the dichotomy of control, you reclaim your freedom. Make the choice to focus on your lane, not theirs. That's how you win. 2. Detach from external validation. Let's talk about Michael. He was a rising entrepreneur, launching a new product that had potential to change his industry. But instead of focusing on the value his product brought to the table, Michael was consumed by one thing. What would people say? He agonized over every detail, fearing criticism and rejection. When someone gave him negative feedback, it hit him like a punch to the gut. This is the trap of external validation. You hand over your emotional well-being to others, allowing their opinions to dictate your self-worth. Stoicism teaches us that real value comes from within, from living virtuously, staying true to our purpose, and aligning with our principles, not from the fleeting approval of others. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters." In other words, let people think what they want. Their judgment isn't a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. Michael eventually shifted his mindset. Instead of worrying about what others thought, he focused on whether his actions aligned with his mission. Did he create the best product he could? Yes. Did he act with integrity? Absolutely. That became his benchmark for success, and it freed him to innovate without fear. Here's your action step. Identify one area in your life where you crave approval. Maybe it's at work, on social media, or in your relationships. Now ask yourself, am I doing this for me, or for the applause. Then start shifting your focus inward. Celebrate progress based on your effort and alignment with your values, not the praise of others. Remember, seeking approval is like chasing the wind. You'll never catch it, and even if you do, it won't last. Focus on building a foundation that can't be shaken: your self-worth. 3. Practice negative visualization. Imagine this. You're walking into a party, excited to see friends and meet new people. But then it happens. That little voice in your head starts whispering, "What if no one likes you? What if you say something embarrassing?" Suddenly you're nervous, awkward, and totally disconnected. Sound familiar? This is where Stoic wisdom can change the game. The practice of negative visualization isn't about dwelling on worst-case scenarios. It's about imagining them so you can strip them of their power. The Stoics believed that fear of what could happen often paralyzes us more than the reality itself. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Do not be disturbed by the opinion of others, for if they are wrong, they need instruction. If they are right, you need to learn." In other words, what's the worst that could happen? Someone doesn't like your outfit. A joke doesn't land. Life goes on. Let me share a quick story. Anna was preparing for a big presentation, terrified she'd mess up and be judged. I asked her, "What's the absolute worst thing that could happen?" She laughed nervously and said, "I could forget my lines and look stupid." "Okay, then what?" I pressed. "Well, I guess I'd apologize, laugh it off, and keep going." Exactly. By walking through her fear, Anna realized it wasn't nearly as scary as she'd built it up to be. Here's your action step. Think of a situation where fear of judgment is holding you back. Imagine the worst-case scenario in detail. Then ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could realistically happen? Can I handle it? Most of the time, the answer is yes. Negative visualization turns fear into a challenge you can conquer. Face it head-on and watch your confidence soar. 4. Adopt the view from above. Picture this. You're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. Frustration builds as every minute ticks by, and you start spiraling. What will my boss think? Will this ruin my reputation? But then, imagine you're in a plane thousands of feet above, looking down at the same traffic. From that altitude, the cars are tiny dots, and the chaos you felt earlier seems insignificant. This shift in perspective is what Stoics call the view from above. By zooming out, you see how small most problems and opinions really are in the grand scheme of things. Marcus Aurelius frequently meditated on this idea, reminding himself to look at life from a higher vantage point. Consider the vastness of time and space and the smallness of our lives within it. Now, let's apply this to caring about others' opinions. Imagine you're nervous about speaking up in a meeting, fearing judgment, but from the view from above, those opinions are fleeting. A week, a month, or even a year from now, will anyone even remember what you said? Probably not. And if they do, will it really matter? Not likely. Here's a story. My client David was terrified of launching a podcast. He feared people would judge his voice, his ideas, or his credibility. I challenged him to take the view from above. Zoom out, I said. What will this mean in 10 years? If the podcast flops, what's the real impact? He laughed and admitted it wouldn't be a big deal. With that perspective, he launched, and today, his podcast is thriving. Action step. Next time you're overwhelmed by others' opinions, take a moment to meditate on the vastness of the universe. Imagine yourself as a tiny speck in an endless cosmos. Feel the weight of those judgments shrink and fade. The view from above isn't just philosophy, it's power. It reminds you to focus on what truly matters and let go of what doesn't. 5. Embrace impermanence. Let me ask you this. Do you remember the last time someone criticized you harshly? Maybe it was a snide remark from a co-worker or an offhand comment from a friend. Now, think about how much that moment consumed your mind back then. But here's the real question. Does it still matter now? Chances are it doesn't. That's because opinions, like all things, are fleeting. Stoicism teaches us to embrace impermanence, the understanding that nothing lasts forever. Marcus Aurelius captured this wisdom beautifully when he wrote, "Everything we see will quickly perish, and those who see it will perish too." This isn't meant to depress you. It's meant to free you. The judgment you fear today will fade with time, just like the countless worries you faced before. Here's a story. Claire was a young artist who stopped sharing her work after a few harsh critiques online. She obsessed over the negative comments, letting them overshadow her love for creating. When I asked her to reflect on those comments a year later, she couldn't even remember the details. Why let something so temporary stop you from doing what you love? I asked. She realized she had given power to something that had already faded into the past. Action step. Think about a time you felt judged or criticized. How much does it matter to you today? Now remind yourself that today's challenges will fade just as quickly. Journaling on this regularly can reinforce your understanding of impermanence. When you embrace the fleeting nature of others' opinions, you stop giving them more weight than they deserve. Life is short, too short to let transient judgments hold you back. Focus on what truly matters and let the rest slip away like sand through your fingers. 6. Live according to your values. Imagine waking up every day with a clear sense of purpose, knowing that your actions align with who you truly are. You're not worrying about impressing others or chasing their approval because you're grounded in your own principles. That's the power of living according to your values. One of the greatest lessons Stoicism teaches is this: your values are your compass. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, don't let the noise of others' opinions distract you from living authentically. The more aligned you are with your core values, the less you'll care about what others think. Let's look at John, a corporate executive. He used to make decisions based on what would gain him praise from his peers and superiors. But deep down, he felt like a fraud because his actions didn't align with his personal beliefs about honesty and integrity. When he finally decided to prioritize his values over external validation, something amazing happened. He felt freer, more confident, and more respected, not because he chased approval, but because people could see he was genuinely himself. Action. Step. Take 10 minutes today to write down your top 3 values. Ask yourself, are my daily actions aligned with these values? If not, what changes can I make to bring my actions closer to my principles? Living according to your values isn't just empowering, it's liberating. When you know you're acting in alignment with your principles, others' opinions lose their grip on you. You're no longer swayed by the wind of approval or disapproval. Instead, you're standing firm, anchored in the foundation of who you truly are. And that, my friend, is the ultimate freedom. 7. Develop inner fortitude. Think about the strongest people you know, not physically, but emotionally and mentally. What sets them apart? It's not that they never face criticism or judgment, it's that they don't let it break them. They've developed a resilience, a kind of inner fortitude that shields them from being shaken by external opinions. Stoicism teaches us that true strength comes from within. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you cultivate discipline, focus, and mental toughness, you become unshakable. Opinions no longer control you because you've built an internal foundation that's stronger than the external noise. Let me share a story. Maria was a young athlete constantly worried about how others viewed her performance. One day her coach said, "Maria, stop playing to the crowd. Play for yourself. Focus on what you can control, your effort, your attitude, your growth." She took that advice to heart and started training harder, focusing solely on improving herself. As her inner confidence grew, her fear of judgment melted away. Eventually, she became a leader on the team, not because she chased validation, but because she embodied strength and self-discipline. Action step. Start small. Pick one daily habit that will challenge you and build your resilience. It could be waking up earlier, sticking to a fitness routine, or journaling about your emotions. Commit to it consistently, even when it's hard. As you develop inner fortitude, you'll find that external opinions matter less and less. You'll stop seeking approval and start standing firm in your own beliefs. Strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, one step at a time. When you master this, you'll stop worrying about what others think and start living life on your terms. 8. Practice indifference. Amor Fati. Imagine being so at peace with life that no amount of criticism, judgment, or negativity can shake you. This isn't some unattainable fantasy. It's the Stoic principle of indifference, or what they call Amor Fati, love of fate. It's the art of accepting everything that happens, including criticism, as neutral or even beneficial. The Stoics believed that events and opinions are not inherently good or bad. It's our judgment of them that creates suffering. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you embrace indifference, you stop letting others' opinions control your happiness. Criticism becomes just another fact of life, like rain on a cloudy day. You don't curse the rain, you simply accept it and move forward. Take James, for example. He was a writer who dreaded negative reviews. Every time someone criticized his work, he'd spiral into self-doubt. But after studying Stoicism, he started reframing criticism. Instead of seeing it as an attack, he saw it as an opportunity to improve, or simply ignored it if it wasn't constructive. By embracing Amor Fati, he found freedom. He wrote boldly, unapologetically, and his work flourished. Action step. Think about a recent criticism or judgment you've received. Ask yourself, is this something I can learn from? If yes, take the lesson. If no, let it go. Repeat this mantra. I am indifferent to what I cannot control. When you practice indifference, you reclaim your power. Criticism and judgment no longer define your worth. Instead, they become background noise, a natural part of life that you accept and move beyond. This mindset doesn't just make you stronger, it makes you unstoppable. Embrace Amor Fati and watch how your world transforms. 9. Limit exposure to negative influences. You've heard the saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. The truth is, your environment plays a massive role in shaping your thoughts, emotions, and even your self-worth. If you surround yourself with overly critical, judgmental, or toxic people, it's no wonder their opinions weigh heavily on you. The Stoics were very intentional about their associations. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." In other words, choose your circle wisely. If your life is filled with people who constantly tear you down or make you question your worth, it's time to reevaluate who deserves your energy. Consider Rachel, a talented designer who worked in a toxic office environment. Every idea she pitched was met with skepticism, and every success was downplayed. She began to internalize their negativity and doubted her abilities. When she finally left that environment and joined a supportive team, everything changed. She thrived, not because she needed approval, but because she wasn't constantly fighting against toxic energy. Action step. Audit your social circle and environment. Make a list of the people or situations that drain you emotionally or amplify your insecurities. Then, create a plan to limit your exposure to these influences. If you can't cut ties completely, set firm boundaries to protect your mental space. On the flip side, seek out people who inspire, challenge, and support you. Spend time with those who encourage growth and celebrate your authentic self. Remember, your time and energy are precious. Don't waste them on negativity. By consciously curating your environment, you'll feel lighter, more confident, and less burdened by others' opinions. That's how you take back control. 10. Reflect on mortality. Let's get real. Life is short. The Stoics were masters of embracing this truth, not as something to fear, but as a powerful motivator to focus on what truly matters. They practiced memento mori, which means remember you will die. This isn't morbid, it's liberating. When you realize how fleeting life is, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter, like worrying about what others think. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Think about that. If this were your last day on earth, would you really care about a random person's opinion of your hairstyle, your presentation, or your social media post? Of course not. You'd focus on what truly matters, your loved ones, your purpose, and living authentically. Take Tom, for example. He spent years chasing approval in his corporate job, sacrificing his dreams of starting a business. When a health scare forced him to confront his mortality, he realized how much time he'd wasted worrying about things that didn't matter. That wake-up call changed everything. He left his job, launched his business, and never looked back. Today, he says the best decision he ever made was to stop letting fear of judgment hold him back. Action step. Write down 3 things you would do differently if you only had a year left to live. Are you holding back because you're afraid of what others might think? Start taking small steps toward those changes today. When you reflect on mortality, you gain clarity. Life is too precious and too short to be lived according to someone else's expectations. Focus on what truly matters to you and let the rest go. In the end, what will you regret more? Doing what others wanted or living the life you were meant to live? Stopping the fear of what others think isn't just about reducing stress, it's about reclaiming your life. By applying these 10 Stoic strategies, you can build confidence, resilience, and inner peace to live authentically. Others' opinions are fleeting, but staying true to your values defines who you are. Which of these strategies resonated most with you? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them. If this video helped, hit like, subscribe for more personal growth content, and share it with someone who needs a little Stoic wisdom. Thank you for watching. Remember, you have the power to live life on your terms. Let's make it happen. See you next time.